Welcome to Everything to Know. Please subscribe.
A wild, wild world. Ranging from ants that eat ants, cockatoos that headbang, and clams that eat their way through stone. One thing's for sure, the animal kingdom can be really wild. This year, scientists stumbled upon all sorts of creatures performing bizarre and mesmerizing behaviors. Here are some of the weirdest animal stories we heard this year. Cannibalistic ants. Ants trapped in an abandoned nuclear bunker in western Poland devoured their dead to survive, according to a study published in November. In 2015, researchers first stumbled on the cannibalistic ant colony scuttling across the floor of a Soviet military bunker near the German border. Several thousand worker ants had fallen through a pipe in the bunker's ceiling and were unable to climb back out. On inspection of dead ant carcasses found on the floor, scientists discovered that gnaw marks coated many of the insects' abdomens. But this gruesome tale does have a somewhat happy ending. The researchers installed a ramp for the ants to escape, and when the team returned a year later, most of the ants had left the bunker. Seagulls don't like being stared at. How can beachgoers keep pesky seagulls from swiping their snacks? Apparently, simply staring at the birds might do the trick, according to a study published in August. Researchers tempted herring gulls in coastal Cornwall with bags of fried potatoes and tested how the birds behaved when they were watched and when they were ignored. Gulls became more cautious about inspecting food when placed under human surveillance, and many of the birds lost interest in the fare altogether. In contrast, when the team ignored the gulls, the birds always pecked at the bag of tasty potato. Zombie ants. Ants infected by a particular fungus begin to wander around aimlessly, and eventually crawl on the top of a plant to die, apparently all under the influence of mind control, according to a study published in July. The Ophiocordyceps kymflamingi fungus takes hold of hapless carpenter ants and somehow directs them to bite down hard on a nearby surface, usually the top of a plant. Scientists found no evidence that the fungus fiddles with ants' brain cells, but they did identify mysterious particles that may cause the insect's mouth muscles to contract. Tardigrades can eat their own mouths. Tardigrades, everyone's favorite near-microscopic invertebrates on 6 legs, may be able to swallow their own mouths. This year, biologist Rafael Martin Lido scooped a tardigrade from the Saja River in northern Spain and discovered strange crystals in the water bear's stomach. Martin Lido suspected that the glittering chunks might be bits of aragonite, a mineral made of carbon and calcium that form tardigrades' food-piercing stylets on either side of their mouths. The tiny animals occasionally molt and regrow each stylet, so it's conceivable that pieces of their mouth bits sometimes end up in their pudgy bellies. Head-banging cockatoo. A sulfur-crested cockatoo named Snowball inspired a scientific study of avian dance. Snowball went viral on YouTube when he burst into spontaneous dance to a backtrack of the Backstreet Boys. Intrigued, a team of scientists played other songs for the cockatoo and found that he consistently synchronized his movements to the beat. Snowball even came up with brand new dance moves, improvising different movements to go with specific tunes. The researchers suggested that Snowball's dance moves indicate that humans and birds may share certain musical, social, and cognitive abilities. Clam eats rocks for breakfast. This year, scientists discovered an odd-looking clam called a shipworm, whose relatives often nosh on the hulls of wooden vessels. But the team was surprised to find that this particular shipworm has a different favorite snack: rocks. The newfound clam cannot bore into wood like other shipworms do, but instead uses shovel-like projections to dig into rock. The creature crunches up the rock with its shells, gobbles it up and expels the digested minerals as a fine sand. The researchers don't think that the clam gains any nutrients from its gravelly diet, but only eats rock to build bigger burrows. Komodo dragons don't need males to reproduce. Female Komodo dragons can produce babies without first receiving sperm from a male, scientists discovered this year. One of the reptiles, named Flora, at London's Chester Zoo, laid 8 eggs this year after undergoing parthenogenesis, a virgin conception. This form of reproduction has been observed in 70 species of vertebrates, including snakes and lizards, but never before in a Komodo dragon. Following parthenogenesis, the unfertilized eggs develop to maturity and produce male offspring, meaning an isolated female Komodo dragon could theoretically start a whole new colony on her own.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.